Welcome back. This is our third video of Module 3 and Python Fundamental. Now Module 2 rather, sorry. Now this is the third video. Now in this module we've been looking at data types. Okay, the first we discussed about the different primitive data types we have. In the second video we took a look at the string data types, where we considered string concatenation, interpolation, and how you can look for the length of a string. Now in this video we are going to be looking at different methods that can be used on strings. Now it turns out string it's actually an object, okay, well it's a strange kind of object when it comes to Python. So it has different methods associated with it. So how do we associate this method? Now why do we call them methods? We have methods are generally functions, but they are functions that are associated with a particular object. Okay, as we proceed you're going to see more of what we call objects. We have a different section for classes and objects itself, but for now just know that we have a thing called objects. In Python generally everything is more like an object. Okay, so string is an object, so it has methods. So the kind of operators or operations you can perform on an object that are merely generally associated with that object only are what you call methods. So functions are methods associated with a particular object. That's it. Okay, so let's see how we can the different kinds of methods we have in Python that are associated with strings. So in the last video this was what we discussed: length, and then we look at string concatenation and interpolation. So now let's see the methods we have. So the different methods we have: number one, we can transform a string to uppercase. So we have s2. This is what s2 is. If I want to transform this string to uppercase, I will use dot. The dot operator is what you basically use. Dot upper will transform the string to uppercase. So now what you have here is Python. Now one thing you have to notice is strings are immutable. So for that reason, if you go back and check s2, s2 remains the same. Okay, this is returning a new object. So if you want it to be replaced in terms of s2, in place of s2, all you need to do is to say s2 equal to s2 dot upper, and that's going to replace s2. So now you have Python there. So that's how you transform something to uppercase. Okay, so let's look at s1. S1 is in terms of this is called a Pascal case. Let's I want to transform this to lowercase generally. All I need to do is to say s1 dot lower, and that's going to transform it to lowercase. As usual, s1 remains the same. You can replace s1, but that's for dot lower. Okay, I may want to transform this expression. Let's say I have an expression. I have s6, and s6 is equal to this is a lovely day, even if we self-isolate. Okay, so I have this. First we can confirm the length of this, so that's s6. So we have about 41 characters there. Now what I want to do is I want to transform this to different cases. So number one, I want to use the title case. So if I transform this to title case, and that's for s6, not s1. What am I doing? So that's for s6. So the title case is picking the first letter of each word and transforming that to an uppercase. Notice this is a lovely this is a lovely day. I meant. Yeah, even if we self-isolate. Yeah. Okay, so it's transforming the first character of each word down to uppercase. So that's why we have this is a lovely day, even if we self-isolate. Okay, but we have another one that is called capitalize. So what's the difference between capitalize and the title case? In capitalize, it's trying to transform just the first character to uppercase, but it is not obvious here since the first character is already uppercase. So it's transforming this first character to uppercase is going to be redundant. So that's the reason you have it this way. Otherwise, know that title case transform the first character of each word, capitalize transform the first character of the first words just to uppercase. Okay, so that's the difference between these two. Then we have other methods. So we have is alpha. So this is trying to check if what you have there contains alphabet. So here it is returning a false. Okay, now the reason it's returning false, why can you picture it? Yes, it's returning false because we have spaces in S6. If they were not to be spaces, then it's not going to return false. But since we have spaces within S6, it is returning false. Okay, now let me show you something quick so that we can go back to this and you see what I'm talking about. If I create something else called S7 and I say it is S6, I'll show you another method called replace. So what I want to do is to replace everywhere I see a space with let's use a T and have a funny looking word. So I have a T. If I do that, check out what S7 is. S7 is this. So if I try S7 dot is alpha, let's see what I'll get now. And it's still returning false. Why? Oh, we have a comma. I didn't replace the comma, so it's still going to return false since we don't have just alphabet here. So now let's try replacing that comma. You can guess how we can replace the comma. So I can say S7 is equal to replace the comma. Let's replace it with an I. And let's see what we have. Okay, so I'll put this back in S7. So now let's try it again. S7 dot is alpha. So now we have true finally. Hey, okay, so when you talk about is alpha, it's looking at if all characters you have in the string are all alphabets. Okay, if it can't find any alphabet, if it finds one item that is not an alphabet, then it's going to return false. But that's not going to be the case if I had if I use another method called is numeric. Okay, in it's numeric, you can guess already what it's going to do. It's going to check if everything you have there are numbers. If they are all numbers, it will return true. If it finds a character, any other character, it's going to return false. Okay, so we have other pretty methods, so let's see them. Now what you could do to see the list of methods you have is after you have S1 dot, just press on the tab key and it's going to give you the list of all the methods you have. Okay, so I can go ahead and say I want to count. That's another method. So what this does is it counts the occurrence of a particular string. So I want to count how many times Y occurs in S1. It's saying 0 times. Just so you know, this is what S1 is. Smart Hub. So if I say S1 dot count how many times, what should I count? Let's count how many times A occurs. And basically guys, that's going to be 1 because we have just one A here. But let's pick S7 for instance, or let's pick S6 for instance, which is this. And within S6, let's count how many times a space occurs. So a space occurs 9 times. How many times? E occurs. E occurs 6 times. But how many times does capital E occurs? So that occurs 0 times. Okay, so that's to show you that this is case sensitive. So other methods we have, let's see, we have end suites. So this is going to return a true or false. I'm trying to ask, okay, S2, does S2 end with a T? That's a false. So what is S2? This is S2 Python. So did S2 end with an N? And that's true. Okay, so that's for end suites. We have other ones. Let's see, we also have start suites, since we've discussed end suites. So I can try if S2 starts with a capital, lowercase p, that's a false. But it is starts with an uppercase P, and we know that answer, that's uppercase P, yeah, and that's true. So we have other ones. Let's see, we've seen end suites, start suites. We have index. So in the next video we are going to talk about index. I don't want this video to be long, but let me just show you what index is used for. Dot index. If I try to check the index of let's say E, it's trying to check, is there any E in S2, and S2 is Python, it doesn't have E, so it's going to give you an error that it can't find that. Well, let's try something else. If I try to check the index of capital Y, that's going to give me 1. Now the reason it's giving you 1 is this, like I said, we'll talk more about index in the next video. However, this, let me just give you a glimpse of what's going on. This is a collection of characters. There's a way you can extract individual characters out of this. Now the way Python works, each item has a position, an index number. P being the first item is index 0, Y is index 1, T is index 2, H is index 3, O is index 4, N is index 5. So when you ask it to return the index of Y, it's giving you the first occurrence of Y. And what's the first occurrence of Y? That is at index 1. So that's what's going to return for you. Whenever you don't have that character present, or that string present, that substrings present, it's going to give you an error. So that's one shortcoming with the index method. But we have another one. Instead of the index method, you can use find. I can say find the index of Y. That's going to give you a 1 as we expect. We can say find the index of T. That's a 2. But what if I say find the index of E? This is not going to give you an error like this. When we said index, find the index of E, this gave us an error because there was no E in the string. But when you use find, it's not going to give you an error. Rather, it's going to return -1. So whenever it returns -1, you should know that that item or that character is not present within the string. If the character is present, it will return the index of the character. If the character is not present, it's going to return a -1. So you can start picturing how you can make use of that. Okay, so let's see another one. We have okay, I've used finds. It's ASCII. You can guess what that is. It's decimal. Does it have digits? This is digit. Is it decimal? Is lower. That will return true or false if everything is lowercase or not. Is numeric. Is printable. Is space. Is title. Is upper. Join. Okay, I'll use join later. Okay, let's see. So let's see the splits. Okay, let's look at splits, and also, okay, I've looked at replace. Let's see the splits. So what we use split for is to pick the string and convert it to a list. List is another data type we're going to talk about. Okay, it picks the string, convert it to a list by putting them into different chunks. Okay, splitting them. That's the word. That's why they call it split. So what will happen if I don't put in any arguments? By default, it's going to split wherever there is a space. So it looked at the string. Okay, if you notice the string, this is what we have. This is a lovely day, even if we self-isolate. So it's looking at where there is a space and splitting this into chunks. So the first is this. We have a space. We have a lovely day, even. Okay, and the day comes with a comma because those things were padded together. And we have if we self-isolate. So this it's returning is another data type called a list that we're going to discuss about later. So whenever you use a split function, it picks what you have and gives you a list. Now this is because I didn't put in any arguments. But what if you don't want to split wherever you see a space? For some weird reason, you want to split wherever you see a comma. So guess how many items is going to be in the list it will return, since we have just one comma there. We have just two, because if you notice, this is where we have a comma. So since this is where we have a comma, it will take this as one item of the list, and then it will take this as the second item of the list, and that's what's returning for us here. We have just two. So try it with different cases. Let me try it with one more. You can also try it with a cat and some other cat. Like I can say use I, split wherever I see I, and then I have something that looks like this. Very weird. Okay, so what it's doing is, once again, it's looking at I. So this is an I, so it picked th as one. Remove the I. What we have is S. From S and the space is another thing. That's what we have here. Then from S down to wherever there is an I, yeah, it's one other. That's why we have this. So that's simply what it's doing. So for some reason you want to split where you have a particular item, you can go ahead and split it. But you can also bring this and join it. Okay, that's another method we have. So I can say, since it is returning this, let's save what is returning in a variable. Let's save it in a variable called S8. So I have S8 now. This is what I have as S8. So this is a list. Now I want to pick this list and join them back. So if I want to join them, I can say, what do I want to use to join them? Or let me not use this. Let's use a case where it splits by default with a space. Yeah, so let's use this. So I have this is by default with a space. So I could join this. I can say, okay, I want, now what's happening here is this: you use what you want to use to join as a string to call this result here, this list. So what I mean is this: I want to join with an asterisk. So I say dot, then I'll say join, then you pass in the list. Now take note, S8 now is a list, so I'll pass in this S8. That's what happens. Okay, so we'll discuss more about lists later on, but take note, this is a list. We have a square bracket covering these things we have it separated by comma. That's what you call a list. So I'm saying I want to use a string, an asterisk, to join what I have here, and that's going to give you asterisk between everything. You don't want to use an asterisk, you want it to go back to how it was. All you need to do is to join it with a space, and then it will go back to how it was. You want to join it with something weird. I want to use okay, not something weird actually. I want to use the minus sign to join, and then this is what I'm going to get. So you can start thinking of how to make use of these different methods we've discussed here. Okay, so this video is already long. So what we are going to do is we are going to end this video here. In the next video, what I'm going to talk about is index, okay, and also sublist. How can we manipulate? How can we pick part of a list, part of a string rather? How can we extract a part of a string? How can we extract a single item, and different things we can do with indices of strings. So if you have any complaint, any suggestion, you can put it in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.